Where are our rights right now?
They're wherever you're willing to draw a line and say, you cannot come across this line or I'll kill you. That's where your rights are. And if you don't understand that, folks, then it's beyond my capability to explain it to you. They will get away with whatever you let them get away with. And until you draw the line and you're willing to die for what you believe in, they will keep taking and taking and taking and taking until there is no more to take. It's all gone, and you're a slave.
Politicians, the mudstream media, a portion of the alternative media, and the jamokes that own that energy weapon that took on the World Trade Center have destroyed our country. We've built this place with our blood, sweat, and tears. It's time to fix what's broken in America. It's time for us to rise up, find out who owns that energy weapon, and take it back from them. Live from the Overthrow Bunker in FEMA Region 9 in Southern California, I'm your host, Pete Santilli, and you are listening to The Pete Santilli Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Pete Santilli Show. The commentary you're about to hear is based on truth and fact and is meant to be used as an educational tool to fight the New World Order, the global elite, and their eugenics agenda. Any characterization made by Mr. Santilli about any person, living or dead, is solely the opinion of Mr. Santilli. Also be advised that the following commentary may have adult content, so parental discretion is strongly advised. So go grab your chips and your Diet Coke and get ready for Pete Santilli. Pete Santilli telling you the truth, whether you like it or not.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not. Today is Tuesday, November 20th, 2012. And I say whether you like it or not because that's just one day closer to the end of 2012. Can you imagine that? We're getting closer and closer by the day, each day coming about. And I'm just about to approach the one-year anniversary of the Pete Santilli Show, which we will celebrate on December 18th. So we're less than a month away from that. Each episode of the Pete Santilli Show is broadcast live daily at 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Second Life Time, and 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern, and recorded iTunes podcast can be automatically downloaded at www.thepetesantillishow.com. And if you visit thepetesantillishow.com, click on that live show chat link and join us.
A potential domestic terrorist, of course, by their standards. By listening to No Messiah.
Yeah, I listen to No Messiah. They consider me a terrorist. And I'll do that in the face of their tyranny. Yeah, for all those of you that want to put up those big walls around our borders to prevent people from coming in, Susanna Cole said it best today. She said, people better be careful what they're asking for because those walls may be used to keep you people in. And I'm going to use this opportunity, since we don't have those walls, I'm going to grab me a hardworking Mexican carpenter who helped build this country and go run back over the border. And I'll take care of them down there. It's time for them to leave. It's time for us to blow out of this joint. Thank goodness there's no walls to keep people in or out. I'm going to play the beginning here before I introduce this gentleman. I want you to hear his voice. His name is Bobby Powell. I literally was seeking out Patriots, wanting to hear what they have to say. He's a very articulate one. It just so happens he's talking my language, the right speak, as far as a new Declaration of Independence. But listen to this, okay, before I bring him on.
When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for a people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with their current form of government, and to resume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence indeed will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transient causes. And accordingly, all experience has shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security.
I'm going to push pause on that note. Those were the words spoken by a gentleman that I discovered on YouTube, okay? And I contacted him, made contact with him, and when I push this button right now, he's going to be live with me on the air on the Pete Santilli Show. Bobby Powell, welcome to the Pete Santilli Show.
Well, thanks, Pete. It's my pleasure, man.
Yeah, thank you. And you know what? This is the flow. This is the way it's going to go. I bring you to the Pete Santilli Show because I want them to hear you speak those same words, not just as the Patriot that's doing YouTube videos. I know you're a United States Marine. I know what you're going to say. I know you're right beside me in this effort. And I want you to introduce yourself. Tell everyone why you're doing this. Why are you on the internet? Why are you speaking out? I already know why, but I want you to tell my listeners that.
Because our brothers are being killed for no reason. I woke up after Operation Iraqi Freedom, which had very little to do with the Iraqis or their freedom, when there were no weapons of mass destruction found. And that just did not sit well with me because our brothers and sisters are coming home in body bags, and I want to know why. And so that's when I woke up. That's when I started digging into stuff. And I found that we don't live in a constitutional republic anymore. We live in an absolute tyranny. Now, what you played before, that little clip, that was pretty much the way the original Declaration of Independence was written. Mm-hmm. After that, I go into comparing the crimes of King George to the crimes of Barack Obama. And what I did was I took the original Declaration of Independence and I took what the founders were saying about King George, and I searched for news articles where Obama was doing the exact same thing. And it was astounding because I easily found at least 2 or 3 examples of each crime that the founders accused King George of, mm-hmm. that Obama is guilty of as well. And these are not blogs, okay, mm-hmm. where I found this information. We're talking about ABC, CBS. I've got government documents linked in there where President Obama has reauthorized slavery mm-hmm. in the United States with mm-hmm. Executive Order 13603. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And then he murders American citizens. Okay, I think that you and I can both agree that Anwar al-Awlaki was a scumbag. Mm-hmm. Okay, there's no doubt about that. But the fact of the matter is that he was born in the state of New Mexico. Mm-hmm. His son Abdul Rahman was born in Denver. Samir Khan, who was also killed, was born in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I don't care what anybody is accused of. Mm-hmm. In the United States of America, citizens are guaranteed the right to a trial of some kind. I would mm-hmm. even have gone with a military tribunal. Mm-hmm. But they're guaranteed a trial of some kind before one man can sign a piece of paper and take their life. That's right. And can you do me a favor? You just give me 2 minutes if you wouldn't mind, because you're very, very articulate. I want 2 minutes. This is what I want to do for everybody, okay? And if you don't mind, this is part of your introduction, Bobby Powell. First of all, if you want to read along with me, you can go to Powell, POWELL.blogspot.com, okay? And I'm going to read this to you, all right? In just about 2 minutes, Bobby, just allow me the honor of reading your blog. President Barack Hussein Obama has refused his assent to laws the most wholesome and necessary for the public good when he authorized the murders of Anwar al-Awlaki and Samir Khan, okay? And as Susanna Cole said in my ear, they always kill the patsy, don't they? American citizens, and separately, al-Awlaki's 16-year-old son. President Barack Hussein Obama has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance unless suspended in their operation until his assent should be obtained. All right? In collusion with treasonous members of Congress,
President Barack Hussein Obama has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. Do you understand who I have on the line with me right now? This is not just a great patriot. This is not just a United States Marine. This is a man, ladies and gentlemen, who is taking action. And he's putting words on a blog. And he's literally demanding that we start becoming a constitutional, lawful people that will stop ignoring the truths that are put before us. President Barack Hussein Obama has attacked elected representatives repeatedly for opposing with manly firmness his invasions of the rights of the people. President Barack Hussein Obama has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his assent to laws for establishing judiciary powers. This comes from, and sir, I'm going to go back to you. I said 2 minutes, and I wanted to powerfully say, man, people need to hear what this guy has to say. Because not only do they need to hear what he has to say, but everyone has the same exact book, documentation, laws. Nothing needs to be rewritten. It's all right there for us. We need to become a constitutional republic, and we're not. It's bobpowell.blogspot.com. Bobby, thank you.
It's my pleasure. Now, what you were reading is the new declaration is the second story down. And as people read it, as they go through it, you'll find hyperlinks in every charge that I laid against Barack Obama that will take you to my research, that will take you to the proof that these crimes are being committed by our government. And Pete, you swore the same oath that I did.
Yeah.
To protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And brother, I'm here to tell you the enemies of this country are in the White House right this very minute.
They are. Yeah. I've spoken to, and since you paused there, I want to ask you a question. Do you believe that our government at the administration level, in the executive branch, has been infiltrated by communists? Do you believe that? As a former United States Marine who knows the difference.
I think actually, when I was in the Corps, the communists were who we were training to fight. So, yeah, that was a long time ago. This was back in the late 70s and early 80s. So, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. But I think it's a whole lot more insidious than that. I think communism and democracy are just a couple of systems that the powers that be use to play against each other. I have no doubt that Barack Obama, whatever he is not what he portrays himself to be. He says he's not a Muslim. Well, that's not true. Every Muslim child is born a Muslim, just like Jewish children receive their Jewish heritage from their mother. Muslims receive their Muslim heritage from their father. The very first thing that's whispered into a Muslim child's ear after he's born is the Shahada, in order to guarantee that he goes to heaven. So from the moment he's born, that child is a Muslim. Now, I would like to know why, the penalty for apostasy in Islam is death. So if Barack Obama converted to Christianity, why has there not been one single fatwa from one nut job cleric somewhere deep in the Hindu Kush calling for Obama's head?
Yeah, no kidding.
I'll tell you why. Because the moment they saw him bow before the Saudi king, they knew he was one of them.
Really?
So, yeah. And that's why, because they know that they've got their man in the White House. He's all mixed up in the Muslim Brotherhood. This whole thing, this whole Arab Spring has been Obama's attempt at installing Islamist governments throughout the Middle East. He started it started in Tunisia. We didn't have a whole lot to do with that one, but the revolution reached Egypt. We supported the Muslim Brotherhood there. We sent an ambassador to speak with Mohammed Morsi, who eventually became prime minister of Egypt. He was the head of the Muslim Brotherhood at the time. We did the same thing in Libya when when Muammar Gaddafi was overthrown. Only this time we went in with NATO forces and supplied the rebels, and I say that in quotations, with al-Qaeda terrorists like Abdel Hakim al-Sidi and there was another one, and they were very famous terrorists. They were famous because they had just been released from CIA prisons, and they were sent to Libya in order to lead this revolution. The web of lies and deceit coming out of this administration is just insane. And the whole idea of it is to surround Israel with hostile regimes. And we spoke earlier that your listeners aren't very religious as a rule. Well, but here's the thing: whether you believe in Bible prophecy or not, the people that are running this game do. At least they are following the Bible prophecy in Ezekiel 38 and 39 to the letter, as a sort of a playbook. Now,
well, Bobby, can I say something? I'm not going to
Sure.
speak. I'm not going to speak on behalf of the listeners. We have a broad range of very awakened individuals. Honest to goodness. Why? Because, yes, you are absolutely welcome to talk about what you know. I want to learn as much as you know on the the spiritual side of what's going on the planet. But I don't want to speak on behalf of our listeners. I just don't talk a lot of religion because I'm a recovering Roman Catholic. So the Bible was read to me, and that's the main reason why. So I just want you to know we're not normally accustomed to having guests like yourself that's very knowledgeable. I want to talk about Israel, though, before I let you go.
Okay.
But anyways, continue on. Before you get off the line, I have to talk to you about Israel. It's so important.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I was listening to a show that you did. You were ranting on Alex Jones, and but further in that show, you were talking about Netanyahu being a Zionist and whatnot. Now, here's the way I see Israel. First of all, I would have voted for Ron Paul. And as you know, Ron Paul would have cut off all foreign aid to everybody, including Israel. Okay, I don't think that Israel needs us to stand up for themselves. These guys are badass. They've got up to 600 nuclear weapons, and they can take care of themselves. And we're going to see that happen. What's happening in Gaza right now is not a retaliation. And this is my own personal opinion, from my analysis. It's not a retaliation for rockets being thrown into Israel by Hamas. What it is it's the very opening steps of an attack against Iran. And I'll tell you why I think that. Between Hezbollah in the north in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza, they have 60,000 of these rockets that they can fire at Israel whenever they want. 60,000, Pete. And Iron Dome is only getting 7 out of 10 of these rockets. Now, what they need to do is, before they attack Iran, they need to take out as many of these rocket emplacements as they can. When they move into Gaza, here's what's going to happen. Hezbollah is going to attack from the north. Then Israel's going to have its forces split. They're going to have some in Gaza, and they're going to have some in Lebanon, taking out these missile bases. And then Syria is going to get involved. Now, here's where it gets very interesting. In Isaiah 17, it says, this is the burden of Damascus. Behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall be a ruinous heap. Damascus is the oldest continuously inhabited city in the world. It has never been destroyed. And the Bible says it will be destroyed, and nobody will ever inhabit it again. I'm not going to go through a lot of scripture because it's just not my thing. I'm not a Bible beater. I just happen to believe in God.
Yeah, and I do too, and I want you to know that very clearly. I have a very, very strong connection between myself and God. But all the other religious stuff that's actually, you know what? I really appreciate what you said about you. No, because all the Christians will automatically jump on the bandwagon and say, yes, we respect their right to defend themselves. They're not defending themselves. And you're absolutely right. This is the beginning of something much bigger. Now, I want to understand what the biblical implications are of all this. I really do want to understand this. But you know what? We're going to be interrupted here in just a minute. Okay, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, I want to take some callers. Are you okay with having callers on the line having this discussion with us?
Absolutely. Wait till they hear about the fact that the Zionists are about to throw Israel under the bus.
Yeah, and that may happen, but this is one thing that I want to come away from this show with, is that everyone needs to realize that this Iron Dome is something much more powerful than anyone knows. And you need to understand this as well, Bobby, and this is not out there in the public domain, okay?
Okay.
Now, when I talk about the Iron Dome, and I mentioned it before you came on air, you didn't even hear me say this, but I'm gonna actually give you some, not insider information, but ladies and gentlemen, I have a special announcement to make. I sent this information that I spoke of right before Bobby Powell came on about my knowledge about that Iron Dome and how truly impenetrable it is when they kick in that microwave weaponry, okay? That changes the whole ball game. Israel's much more protected than anyone realizes. This is not just World War III. This is potentially implementation of weaponry that we've never, ever seen before. This is a big thing. So, biblically, yes, some things could materialize. Don't go away. I have Bobby Powell with me, and I'm glad I did this, ladies and gentlemen.
I've got several interviews with some fascinating guests, like theologian Chuck Missler, the Nephilim and Pyramid researcher Patrick Heron, and even Nancy Nibiru later. And I'm going to upload those in a basically raw form. I just simply don't have the time or the ability to edit them to my usual standards. Like I said, this computer is about to go, and I really have to baby it. So to all of those who have gotten used to my graphics, I like to think that they're pretty good. I tried to be like the History Channel, but I'm just a one-man operation. It's just not going to work. I hope that you feel like I do, that it's really the information that's important and not necessarily the look. But no matter how much I baby this computer, it is going to fail sooner or later. Here, listen to my fan. Yeah. Bad news. And when it fails, that'll be the end of The Truth is Viral. This is the only computer that I've got. And those of you that have been with me from the beginning know that I'm not in this for the money. But producing a newscast does take money. Gas, ink cartridges, HDMI cables, Skype subscriptions, computers, things like that. They're all necessary for running any business. And this literally is a business, even though I'm not making any money on it personally. Last year I spent $800 over what I took in producing this show, and so far this year I'm down $1,000 in a minivan. If you guys are unfamiliar with my financial situation, just click that link below. It's a train wreck. You'll find out who Bob Powell is and where he came from and why you should support the show. The point I'm trying to make, though, is that I can't do this alone. Okay, I need your help to save lives. If you are struggling, I don't want your money. Believe me, I know what it's like to live on hot dogs and beans and toasted cheese sandwiches and tomato soup. That's not the point. There are a couple of people out there, though, probably more than a few of you, that do have the ability to keep this show going, and I'm counting on you to help me spread the truth. Yeah, I've never charged a penny for people to watch my show. It always has been, and it always will be free. That's the way the truth should be. But if you are one of those who does have a few extra dollars jingling around in your pocket, please go to bobpowell.blogspot.com, and you'll find a couple of options up there on the top. The top button is for recurring donations. You can give me $5 a month, which is like, what, the price of a cup of coffee, and or $20 a month, or one-time a $100 donation. Or the button below that, you can make a donation in any amount one time. And it will be gratefully accepted and used to fix this gear. Now, Alex Jones recently raised $500,000 with his InfoWars money bomb. And he's going to use that money to move into a bigger studio and hire more researchers. Good for him. I'm just going to stay here in my garage studio and put out information that's every bit as timely and every bit as accurate, maybe even more so. And if I can get the $5,000 that I'm going to need to get my basic equipment up to par, then I'll be a very happy camper. Like I said, I don't need much. I'm not in this to get rich. I'm just trying to keep the truth alive. And if something happens to this computer, truth is viral is done.
And now, broadcasting live from deep inside the bunker at FEMA Region 9 is your host, Pete Santilli, telling you the truth, whether you like it or not.
Okay, here's the thing. Bobby, I'm going to take a couple quick calls, okay? And I'm going to turn the music down here. Normally I let it play all the way through. But let's see, we have John from Pennsylvania, line 1.
Hey, Pete. Pleasure to be on your show.
Hey, thanks a lot for calling in. And you know what? Please pardon me because we have a short segment here, but we're going to be a little bit hurried. But what's on your mind?
Well, it's just in keeping to being on topic. I've done a lot of research. I've been involved the last couple of years waking up. And you go through a process. But the process is one of just absolute disbelief. And, of course, then there's the anger. And I'm at the point right now where I'm in disbelief of how fast things are starting to turn. There is a thing on YouTube, a clip called What Happened to the Constitution? Absolute must be heard by anybody that can hear it. We lost the Constitution all the way back prior to the Civil War. This movie that's coming out about Abraham Lincoln, I have my doubts about how great this man was. I think he was possibly put in place so that he could actually destroy the republic. This clip must be seen. Also, there's a person that I know would be interested in talking with you specifically because of your action-orientated stance, and that's a fellow by the name of Drake Bailey, and he has a website called AmericanNationalMilitia.com. There are actions that we can start taking. You said something the other day that absolutely just struck genius to me, and that was we need a leaderless revolt. Yeah. It means everybody has to take part in the revamping and the retaking of our liberties. There was only 5% of the people back in the colonial days that actually did this for everybody, and we're dealing with the same small bunch of people again that are going to have to take up the banner and run with it. This fellow Drake is very interesting, and I know that he would talk to you.
John, I have spoken to Drake, and by the way, I'm going to allow Bobby to. Bobby, do you have a response to that? I want you to respond to this caller.
I do, actually. I've spoken to Drake too, and I interviewed him as a reporter would interview a source, and I find him full of crap.
Okay, that's Bobby's perspective. Now, I've spoken to Drake as well. This is what I will say though, to the both of you. Okay, this is what I love. Drake is just in the trenches, just meat and potatoes kind of guy. Now, I don't want to criticize, kind of like, when I was a DJ. You don't want to criticize another DJ for expressing himself, right? Right. Now, I'm going to say that Drake is out there at least trying to make it happen. Now, I will say that he's got a little bit of hocus pocus, but guess what? You can pick and choose. Some of the stuff that I say, some people are not going to like, but the guy's, I'll give him this much credit. He's doing something. He's getting on some people's nerves, too. Sounds like from what Bobby says. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't see what he's doing. Every prediction that he's ever made that I've researched has not come true. Yeah. Whatever happened to the...
Yeah. He's got some stuff on his militia website.
Whatever happened.
Yeah, as far as his predictions, I'm sorry to interrupt. We're going to be interrupted here, okay? And I'm going to have to go out speaking on this break. Can you stay right there, John? Because I need to finish up. I want to give you this opportunity to respond. But Bobby, yes. I'm not going to disagree with you. I've actually heard the same exact stuff. Okay.
The interview with Drake is on my blog at bobpowell.blogspot.com. If anyone wants to listen to it.
Don't go away. You're going to stay with me, right, Bobby?
Absolutely, as long as I'm happy, brother.
Yeah, you stay with me. We're in the trenches here. What I will say, everyone's got their opinion. His predictions, a lot of them haven't come true. He's got this weird little thing that he does with his followers. That's okay. But with respect to his militia and what he wants to do to help take our country back, I'm not going to criticize him in that regard. Let the man have his say. And of course, Bobby, I respect your opinion as well. But when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take more callers. We have a couple callers on the line. I want you to stay right there. Tim in Virginia, Wayne from Cali. You stay right there, and we'll be back right after this message.